itong gulo, ito yung mga bakbakan ng salita, it has a may effect kasi yan. Nag-harden yung position ng kabila. So pag nag-harden sila, like even this oil exploration, pag nakita nila that, this is part of our claim. Kasi may overlapping claim eh. Pag yan part ng claim namin, we will not allow that to happen. So pag sinabi mong allow to happen, wala kang magagawa kasi claim nila yun. They will do something to block that. So ganun ang nangyayari. So kaya nga sabi ko, actually pinahihirapan ng Pilipinas ang sarili natin when in fact kaya naman nating makuha kung anong gusto natin by just talking and negotiating with them, and don't make it wag yung megaphone diplomacy.
Ano ba ang sinasabi? Ano yung nasa batas sa UNCLOS na pumabor sa atin sa simpleng termino, yung sinasabing sovereign rights? Hanggang saan lang yung pwede nating gamitin diyan sa bahagi na yan, sa South China Sea, sa West Philippine Sea, hanggang ano lang yung pwede nating gawin diyan? Kasi parang sinagot din dyan yung sa traditional fishing rights at inoobserba at hindi lang Pilipinas, yung parang kinikilala ng tribunal na mabigyan ng karapatan na makapagpangisda dyan, no? So maliban doon sa pangingisda, which possible babanggitin mo yan, ano pa ang pwede nating gawin dyan sa napanalunan natin o yung sinasabi po ng tribunal na yan dyan sa lugar na yan?
Okay. Para mas maintindihan natin mga kababayan, ano ba ang talagang, kumbaga, what we won? Ano yung napanulunan? Kung may napanalunan man. Kasi ang hirap pang sabing napanalunan mo kung ang sinabi lang ng tribunal is clarificatory. Diba? At saka, one thing that you have to remember, walang implementing body or implementing force or yung, alam mo, yung whatever it is, na ang UNCLOS kasi, wala siyang implementing force. So, hindi mo ma-implement even yung sinasabing quote-unquote na napalalunan natin sa arbitral ruling. So, and on the other hand, it's not a backup by the UN system. So, paano nila i-implement yan? So, yan. Pero just to clarify, and also para hindi ako magkamali kasi kailangan itong mag-precise. Ang sinabi lang ng 2016, Arbitral Tribunal did not rule again on territorial sovereignty. It did not determine ownership of any land features such as Spratly or Scarborough Shoal claimed by the Philippines, China, Vietnam, or Malaysia. Imagine mo, ilang claimant states yan. Likewise, it did not draw or delimit maritime boundaries between states. Instead, the ruling focused exclusively on maritime entitlements under UNCLOS. It clarified the status of a specific maritime feature kung land, kung island siya, rocks, or reef, okay? Under corresponding entitlements, whether they generate 200 nautical miles EEZ, yun na nga sinasabi natin, exclusive economic zone natin yan, and then 200 nautical miles territorial sea, territorial sea or none at all. So sa atin kasi, ang importante ng arbitral ruling, clarify niya na, okay, 12 nautical miles from the shore, ito yung territorial sea nyo, and 200 nautical miles, yan ang exclusive economic zone nyo. So yan ang malinaw doon. So ano ang importansya ng exclusive economic zone? Ang importansya kasi doon, ibig sabihin, you have sovereign rights to explore and exploit meaning possible use of the resources underneath the sea, below. Kasi pag tinawag mong up sa above, this is international waters na siya. Kaya nga, nagkakaroon tayo din ng problema kapag minsan may mga ships like China na pumapasok sa so-called nating exclusive economic zone. It's okay. Even in UNCLOS, it's there. Kasi nga, international waters. However, even doon sa ruling and even sa UNCLOS, nagsasabi siya, okay, you can exploit resources in consultation with the coastal states, especially with the claimant states. Kaya hindi rin pwedeng sabihin na absolute kaagad yung tinatawag mong exclusive economic zone. Kaya nga, 'di ba? Kaya nga minsan, kailangan itong intindihin mabuti kasi pag hindi ito maintindihan, nagkakaroon ng confusion dito. At saka ano pa ang importante na sinabi ng exclusive economic ng tribunal, ng 2016 tribunal, ni-rule out niya na ang 9-dash line ng China, which is the historic rights of China, is not valid. However, one thing that you have to remember on the China side, ang claim nga nila territorial sovereignty. So which is very different from our claim na based on UNCLOS. So ang adjudication ng territorial sovereignty claim is not within UNCLOS, in a higher level, which is the ICJ kung gusto mo mag-file. So kaya nga, di ba sabi ko, may overlapping claim ka, pero ang reference point ng mga claim ng ibang bansa ay hindi pare-parehas. Kaya ang hirap niyang, mahirap, complex nga siya. So, yun nga yung sinasabi ko. Kaya lang, ginagamit nga ng mga politiko itong complexity. Tapos sinabi pa niya na sabi ng arbitral ruling, ang Scarborough Shoal is a rock. You see? Rock. So, ibig sabihin, it would never generate some kind of, therefore, cannot generate an EEZ, so exclusive economic zone. Pero ang maganda lang dun sa tribunal, which is yun ang dapat nating i-promote at yun ang dapat nating i-capitalize, i-maximize, is yung tinatawag na itong Scarborough Shoal is a traditional fishing rights, fishing ground. Ibig sabihin, fishing ground for all claimant states. And that would include Filipino, Chinese, and Vietnamese, and others. So, yun ang dapat nating gamitin na, China, sabi, please, try to look at this. This is a tradition, as far as UNCLOS is concerned, this is a traditional, fishing area. So, we can also fish. Why don't we have an agreement on this? Why don't you consider this? Yun yung kailangan mo. Kasi ang pinaka-importante naman kasi dyan is yung tinatawag mong livelihood ng ating mga kababayan. And I don't think, to be very frank, that China will not sit down and agree with this. Kasi I think on their side, they also want to settle this issue, but not necessarily on the sovereignty issue, but actually how to come up with an agreement na lahat, like Philippines and China, magkakaroon ng magandang ugnayan at magandang usapan kung paano ma-address mo ang issue ng livelihood. Kasi ang fishing is an issue of livelihood from both sides. So yun yung katingin ko lang sa akin sa analysis ko, inaaral ko to. My PhD dissertation is all about the South China Sea, but I'm looking at the economic side and the trade part of it because the geopolitical is very exploited already. So I'm looking at the economic side. So sa akin, ang pinaka-importante na sagot ko sa tanong mo, Admar, is tignan natin yung fishing side. Kasi dito, malinaw. Ang sinasabi naman ng arbitral, at I think supported by UNCLOS, fishing ground siya ng lahat. So kung lahat, ibig sabihin, as Filipinos, we also have the right to fish in that area. So why not? That is our negotiating point. At yun ang talagang magbe-benefit ang ating mga kababayan na nagfi-fish at ang fishing is their livelihood. So that is one of my point. Na kailangan natin i-assert and at the same time, pero i-assert in a diplomatic, peaceful way. Hindi yung makikipag-gitgitan tayo na maliit naman tayo at wala tayong, hindi natin kaya. My gosh. Hindi natin kaya. Sorry Oo, hindi natin kaya yan. So, yun yung, at saka marami pa naman, di ba? Kaya nga, di ba, nung panahon ni President Duterte, Admar, may isa ata silang MOU na may kinalaman dyan sa paano ang ating mga kababayan magkakaroon ng chances to fish in that area in the Scarborough Shoal. Pero right now kasi, Admar, to be very honest din sa'yo, at sa ating mga kababayan, dahil nga sa bakbakan ng dalawang bansa, exchange of words na maaanghang, ang posisyon ng China is hardening and hardening. So pag sinabi mong hardening and hardening, ibig sabihin, pinapatrol nila talaga yung Scarborough Shoal. And on the other hand, they also have an upper hand kasi de facto-wise, they control the area. And when you say they control the area, they have their Coast Guard, they have their Navy. And I don't think the Philippines, even with the United States presence, will be able to win over kung sino ang kukontrol, kung makukuha mo yung control dyan. I don't think so. That is one thing that I can tell you. So right now, ang maganda talaga dito is makipag-negotiate tayo. Wag na tayo ng mga bida-bida. Kasi to be very honest, given the economy ng Pilipinas na collapsing, hindi natin kaya. Kailangan natin maging wise kung ano ang ating pwedeng gamitin na leverage over China.
Opo. Prof, kasama ba doon sa karapatan natin na i-exploit yung magkaroon tayo ng oil exploration?
Well, it depends on the disputed area. Kung ang oil exploration natin is nasa side natin, ang controlled natin, yung occupied territories natin, hindi na kasi sa issue ng South China Sea, malinaw din ang sinasabi ng 2012 I think na mayroon may sinasabi na status quo. So status quo na sinasabi na halimbawa, yung occupied areas natin, occupied na natin yon. So, hindi nila papakialaman yun, let us say, ng China and Vietnam. Occupied natin. So, kung dyan sa mga occupied area, mayroon kang kailangan mong gawin, like exploration of oil, whatsoever, as long as it's your occupied area and especially doon sa hindi disputed area, you can actually do that. However, mahirap ngayon ang sitwasyon. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, itong gulo, ito yung mga bakbakan ng salita, it has may effect kasi yan. Nag-harden yung position ng kabila. So pag nag-harden sila, like even this oil exploration, pag nakita nila that, this is part of our claim. Kasi may overlapping claim eh. Pag yan part ng claim namin, we will not allow that to happen. So pag sinabi mong allow to happen, wala kang magagawa kasi claim nila yun. They will do something to block that. So ganun ang nangyayari. So kaya nga sabi ko, actually pinahihirapan ng Pilipinas ang sarili natin when in fact kaya naman nating makuha kung anong gusto natin by just talking and negotiating with them, and don't make it wag yung megaphone diplomacy. So yung tanong mo is a yes and no thing. It depends on the situation. It depends also kung ang area na i-exploit mo for oil exploration whatsoever is also being claimed by China. Well, if it's being claimed by China or Vietnam, that would be a very difficult to say na magagawa mo yan freely. Yun yung
Opo.
sasabihin ko rin sa'yo.